Disclaimer: these videos are not made for a younger audience. They may contain coarse language as well as discussions of mature themes and situations, and thus may be deemed unsuitable for a younger audience. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey, you like Batman? You like fun 60s camp? Me too. So let's have a little fun here and take a look at the cinematic debut of the Caped Crusaders, Batman the Movie, starring Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman and Robin, as well as this mostly fine but slightly weird poster for it.
Yo, I'm really sorry, okay?
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue?
Zaranar looking ass. For those of you who have never lived or breathed, Batman the Movie is a spin-off of the hit Batman TV show and has most of the same cast from the series itself, with the sole exception of Catwoman, who for this film alone is played by Lee Ann Merriweather, filling in for Julie Newmar, who portrayed the feline femme fatale for the show's first 2 seasons, but couldn't be in the film because she was busy filming an unreleased spy spoof, Monsieur Lecoq, at least according to Screen Rant's Michael Kennedy, before being replaced again by the late Eartha Kitt for the 3rd and final season, as this time Newmar was busy filming for McKenna's Gold, though I'm not sure why they didn't bring Merriweather in for the role. Guess she really did want to be evil. The series itself began airing in January 1966, and after becoming a huge hit, the film was quickly greenlit, and came out in July of the same year. The movie itself kind of feels like a feature-length episode of the show, so let's get to it. The movie wastes as little time as possible in setting up what we should expect for the next hour 40 in a very novel way for a movie, but not for a YouTube video. A pre-show disclaimer, and its bright and colorful intro. It's not the iconic animated intro of the series proper, but it gets the job done. Why is this shot of Robin backwards? As quickly as the tone was set, the film throws you straight into the action, with Bruce and Dick racing to the cave, flicking the instant costume switch lever. How do you think they put those suits on? And dashing straight to one of the best Batmobiles ever put to screen. Holy tier list, Batman! Robin phones ahead to the airport to have the Batcopter prep for takeoff. Once in said copter, which doesn't show up in the series much, if at all, they fly straight to the ocean. They've been called in to protect a yacht that's supposedly under threat, you see. But when they get there, there's no yacht to be found, just a mere holographic projection, which the Caped Crusader learns far too late, leading to one of the film's more memorable moments.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray!
A miraculously uninjured Batman sprays the sinister sea creature, causing it to fall into the briny deep, and immediately fucking explode. Damn, that bat spray's got a kick to it. After this ordeal most peculiar, our costumed comrades hold a press conference alongside the GCPD, where we are introduced to Miss Kitka. A reporter for the Moscow Bugle, who asks the dynamic duo to unmask, leading to some exposition for those who are unfamiliar with Batman, as she seemingly is.
Great Scott, Batman, take off his mask!
The request is not unnatural, however, impossible to grant. If Robin and I were to remove our masks, the secret of our true identities would be revealed.
Completely destroying their value as ace crime fighter.
In fact, our own relatives we live with don't know.
You are like the masked vigilantes in the westerns, no?
Batman and Robin are fully deputized agents of the law.
Support your police. That's our message.
Ah, damn, Robin's a bootlicker. The press conference ends, and Batman and Robin, along with Mustacheless Gordon and the dumbest cop around, Chief O'Hara, discuss who could be behind this whole ordeal, revealing that the 4 most prominent villains are all out of prison, with no mention of them seeming to have been reformed, so I guess they all broke out and nobody bothered doing anything about it. After this revelation, they all come to a conclusion through the only natural means. Several leaps in logic.
Pretty fishy what happened to me on that ladder.
You mean where there's a fish, there could be a penguin?
But wait, it happened at sea. Sea for Catwoman.
Yet, that exploding shark was pulling my leg.
The Joker.
It all adds up to a sinister riddle. Riddle-er.
I hardly know her.
The 4 of them. Their forces combined.
Holy nightmare.
Batman, could it be?
I don't know. But I think I know where to find a clue.
As the world's greatest detective and the boy Wonder head back to their cave, we cut to the docks, following, of all people, Miss Kitka?
Ahoy, Catwoman!
Imbecile, how many times have I told you never use my real name in public?
Aha, you fools! Miss Kitka was actually... Wait, her real name is Catwoman?
She probably just considers it her real name. Like, the Catwoman identity allows her to be her true self.
Yeah, probably, but in this universe, it's just as likely that her parents actually named her Catwoman. Maybe short for Catherine. I digress. Catherine Woman meets up with Trip God, the Riddler, played by Frank Gorshin, Penguin, played by Burgess Meredith, and the Joker, played by Cesar Romero, and his mustache. The gang, the United Underworld, has kidnapped the hapless Commodore Schmidlap, a name I swear I didn't make up, and the inventor of the Total Dehydrator. Which I find hard to believe. This man couldn't invent a sandwich if you gave him bread and access to a charcuterie board. But they plan on using his device to temporarily turn the members of the World Security Council to dust, and ransom them off to their respective nations for exorbitant amounts of money. But first, they have to do away with our costumed heroes. Lucky for this glorious gaggle of goons. Can I still use that word in this context? Batman and Robin have figured out where exactly the projection came from, and our daring do-gooders dash out to the waterfront, sailing towards the offending buoy in the Batboat, which also I don't think ever appears in the show. While they're inspecting the buoy, their belts are magnetized to the hull, and the nearby villains fire torpedoes at our trapped crusaders. Batman is able to deflect the first two with his little bat gizmo, technical term, but when the third is launched, we get the single best line in any Batman movie.
Confound it! The batteries are dead!
Lucky for them, a porpoise flung itself on the torpedo's trajectory, saving their lives and bringing the number of exploded sea life in this film to 2, which is more than you'd expect going in for the first time.
Gosh, Batman. Nobility of the almost human porpoise.
Upon returning to the Batmobile, they call up an admiral in the Navy, who is literally sitting around playing tiddlywinks, who informs Batman that a pre-nuclear submarine has just been sold to a Mr. P. N. Gwyn, and since Batman and Robin are two of the few people in this universe whose heads aren't filled with loose marbles, they quickly deduce that this is the Penguin.
Disposing of pre-atomic submarines to persons who don't even leave their full addresses. Good day, Admiral.
Gosh.
As the two ponder what they're planning, stock footage of a Polaris missile writes out 2 riddles into the sky, which they figure out at Police HQ.
That be. Look at this pair of joking riddles.
What does a turkey do when he flies upside down?
He gobbles up.
What weighs 6 ounces, sits in a tree, and is very dangerous?
A sparrow with a machine gun.
Well, naturally, no other answer makes sense. They finally learn that the 4 villains are working together, and they also conclude that they plan to conquer the world. The film then cuts to the villains in conference with one another, arguing over this most recent blunder, before the Riddler comes up with a brilliant plan to destroy the dynamic duo.
I see the way to do it. We'll play each of our treacherous trumps in one hand, and we'll do it right here. We shall spring them from the Joker's jack in the box, through that window, out over the sea, and into the waiting arms of the Penguin's exploding octopus. The trigger, one of my riddles, of course. And the bait? You, Catwoman. She will be disguised as Kitka, and as Kitka, she shall lure some millionaire into a kidnap trap.
Of course, with a clever clue pointing.
I know the perfect victim. I know the perfect victim. I know the perfect... Bruce Wayne. Then snap into the combination trap.
Over at Wayne Manor, the plan is already in motion, with Kitka charming Comrade Wayne and informing him of threatening riddles left for her. He attempts to ease her mind and offers to take her to dinner, and she accepts before he slips away to the Batcave to decipher the riddles with Robin, as well as the sinister threat.
Listen to these riddles. Tell me if you interpret them as I do. 1. What has yellow skin and rights?
A ballpoint banana.
Right. 2. What people are always in a hurry?
Russian people? Russians!
Now, what would you say they mean?
I've got it! Someone Russian is gonna slip on a banana peel and break their neck.
A clear threat to Miss Kitka's life.
Batman plans to have Robin and a disguised Alfred tail him and Kitka on their date, ready to have Robin spring into action when the villains make themselves known to kidnap Kitka. unwittingly having fallen for the villain's trap, arriving on jetpack umbrellas. What, is that too ridiculous? Anyway, they arrive on jetpack umbrellas, leaping through the window to kidnap Bruce.
This is a kidnap! Our joke's on you!
Who the starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
As Robin and Alfred sit, view screen off, in the Batmobile. A fight ensues, and before Robin can notice and spring into action, the villains are away, Wayne in tow. Returning to their lair at the docks, the United Underworld rejoices, setting the next phase of their plan into action. Upon regaining consciousness, Bruce demands to know where Kitka is, still unaware that the girl is secretly Catwoman. When they allow him to see Kitka, he comes up with a plan to escape, spinning a yarn about having a concealed transmitter up his sleeve, springing into an attack when the Joker unties him to get at it. He fights his way out, Catwoman heading to the customary "girl stands around and yells instead of fighting" spot, and one of the goons springs the Joker's Jack-in-the-Box and is sent flying towards the Penguin's octopus, bringing the number of exploded sea creatures to 3 and people Batman has caused the deaths of to 1. After failing to find Kitka, Bruce opts to head out the window and leap into the water, where he is able to flee from these felonious finks. As he makes his return to Wayne Manor, he assuages the Commissioner's fears and shoots him back to Police HQ, he and Dick rushing to the cave as soon as he's gone. The villains, however, are feeling the crunch to get their plans underway and make their preparations, with the Joker roofing Commodore Schmidlap to maintain the illusion that he hasn't been abducted, and the Penguin dehydrating 5 goon penguins, placing their dusty remains into vials. Batman and Robin storm the villain's hideout, only to find their lair abandoned, but for a comically oversized bomb. Batman sends Robin away to safety, dashing in to dispose of the explosive, leading to the most famous scene and line from this iteration of the Caped Crusader.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
The movie briefly fakes it out to look like Batman may have died, but quickly shows he's fine. I don't think they actually expected most of the audience to fall for it. It's just to add a little suspense for the younger kids watching. The movie's way too unserious to sincerely pull that. Anyway, Penguin shuffles his way towards Batman and Robin, poorly pretending to be Schmidlap, who see through his disguise and bring him to the Batcave in order to prove this. He's disguising his fingerprints with plastic tips, so they need the cave's more thorough means of proving his identity than what they have in the car, a retinal scanner. Arriving in the cave and waking up the Penguin, they prepare the scanner while he goes to get a drink.
Over there. The drinking water dispenser is clearly marked.
Thank you very much, sir.
Secretly rehydrating his 5 henchmen, who engage the unexpected dynamic duo. However, having accidentally used the heavy water that the heroes used to recharge the atomic pile, the henchmen's molecules are out of whack, and upon touching anything with any degree of force are reduced to antimatter, and are ejected from this plane of existence.
Antimatter? You mean they won't be coming back?
No, Robin. Not in this universe.
I bet the anti-monitor's really confused right now. Not sure if I should add to the Bat body count, though. They claim to believe the Penguin story, suggesting that he's being controlled by the villains. They put him to sleep again, only to wake him up again when they're on the back roads, with Batman feigning car trouble. Having foreseen that the Penguin would steal the Batmobile, Batman and Robin have taken a pill to counter the effects of the Penguin's knockout gas, and track him in the Batcopter. However, when Riddler sends a missile to write the next batch of riddles, what else is he gonna do? The Batcopter is knocked out of the sky, but Batman is able to safely crash it at a nearby foam rubber convention. Once they get their bearings and read the riddles in the sky, they deduce the villains are going to attack the Security Council at the United World building, opting to run there. While they're on their way, the United Underworld has already arrived and dehydrated the Security Council.
Emergency! Seal this building!
And turn off the ventilating system!
Robin's right. The entire Security Council may have been dehydrated.
Emergency operator, emergency! We need 9 bottles of water, stat!
When Batman and Robin finally cross the villains' paths, threatening them with violence to try to keep them there. Catwoman, however, threatens them in kind with the safety of Kitka, allowing those fiends to escape. But before too long, the dynamic duo have tracked their sub down in the Batboat. They attempt to blow the boat out of the water, but Robin successfully jams the rocket signal, detonating it harmlessly in the water. The Boy Wonder then uses the Bazooka to force them to surface. A brawl ensues, including the only time a female villain gets in on the action, I think. First tossing her cat and hindering Batman.
Full
voyage, proceed.
And then pushing the Cape Crusaders into the water. She bolts into the sub as Batman and Robin climb back aboard, but trips, causing her mask to fall off, revealing to Batman that she was Kit Kat all along.
Holy heartbreak! It's Kit Kat! Batman, I...
Say no more, Robin. It could be compromising.
As Robin cuffs Catwoman, Batman calls the Coast Guard to collect the submarine, as well as the captured Cretins. He then secures the dehydrated council members, but when the bumbling Commodore Schmidlap comes out of his room to see what the hell is happening, he trips, grabs the vials, spills them all, and to make matters worse, sneezes, thus scattering them even further, dooming the world. Luckily, the Batcave has an atomic dust separator for situations such as these. Robin is tempted to mix the powders up a bit, but Batman admonishes his ward about playing God. All seems clear, so at the UW, preparations are made to rehydrate the Security Council members. It seems to have worked at first, but that atomic dust separator must need some fine-tuning, because they've utterly mixed their minds.
Holy screw-up!
Yes, Robin, we may have made a mistake or two. Let's just slip away quietly. And so, having scored a B- at best in saving the day, our heroes leave, on an end card that the movie itself is confused by. Before we wrap, since I had talked about costumes in my last episode, I want to do the same here, starting with Batman himself, and positives first. I love the general aesthetic of the suit. It's satiny blues with the gray, the utility belt is perfect, having both the capsules and pouches, and it has a very nice emblem. It's a shame the suit hides West's figure. He was in pretty good shape at the time, but so is the trouble with the spandex bodysuit. As for the negatives, the logo is way too damn low, making his torso seem short. I did a quick edit, placing the logo more in the middle of his chest as opposed to the middle of his body, and I think it looks significantly better. I was going to lower the belt for the same reason, but I don't think it's necessary. The other thing is the cape. Making it out of the same material as the rest of the blue was a mistake in my eyes. It needs to be a slightly heavier fabric. As is, it just feels weightless. Moving on to the Boy Wonder, and other than the cape, which has the same issues as Batman, I think it's a pretty good adaptation of the original costume. Cesar Romero, contractually kept mustache aside, has a pretty solid look for the Joker, even being a clear inspiration for Joaquin Phoenix's suit in the Joker movie, at least to a degree. But I do wish it was a deeper purple, and that the lipstick was a more distinct red. In lieu of an edit, this figure by McFarlane Toys is actually a pretty solid representation of what I'd prefer. Also, they should have leaned into it. If Romero's contract states that he keeps his iconic mustache, then the Joker should have had a green mustache, goddammit. Frank Ocean's Riddler, however, not only has one perfect costume, but two. Whether it be the bodysuit or the business one, the costume department fucking crushed it when they were dressing this man. No notes, 10 out of 10. Have a cookie. Burgess Meredith's penguin suit is pretty nice as well. Not strictly comic accurate, but still has the same vibe. A particular addition that I like is the feathery vest and gloves the character wears. It's a small touch, but a cool one. Finally, Lee Merriweather's Catwoman, and for all intents and purposes, Noir and Kit's Catwomen, have very similar, though slightly different catsuits. A simple black Lurex catsuit with a gold belt, black opera gloves with gold claws, black heeled boots, and a pair of cat ears, as well as a black mask that would swoop into the ears. Julie Newmar and Eartha Kitt's Catwomen were also adorned with a gold necklace, which Merriweather's suit neglected. The costume is nothing like anything the character had worn in the comics to that point, but it is absolutely iconic in its own right. One more note before the end, though. Riddler and Catwoman usually wear a mask with their outfits, seldom removing them. Penguin and the Joker, despite usually not wearing one, occasionally do wear a mask to hide their identities? I have no fucking clue what purpose they could serve. There's no indication that this Joker's ghastly appearance is anything other than the comic's perma-clown, and Penguin has a pretty public identity, so why wear a mask? This is an incredibly fun flick, and it was a joy to talk about. It's incredibly silly. There's this really fun running gag where Catwoman keeps meowing and Penguin's thugs look at her funny for being weird. The stakes are feather light. Batman and Robin don't even actually succeed at the movie's end. as mentioned at the top, it does feel like a few episodes of the show stapled together. If you wanted, it would be pretty easy to cut the movie into a 2 or 3 part episode. I might even do it myself for fun. But all in all, stuff like this is what I started this channel for. Just getting to talk ad nauseum about stuff I like, why I think it's fun, share my scattershot thoughts about it. I might not know much, but it still brings me some small pleasure just to shoot the shit about this fun, campy bit of kitsch. And it's a shame we don't get fun Batman more often. Like, Brave and the Bold, Justice League Action, and Lego Batman are fun, but Brave and Bold ended in 2011, Action ended in 2018, and was barely even on. And the last time we saw Lego Batman was 2019. Shit, the last time we got Dick Grayson in live action was fucking Titans. I didn't even watch that shit. The trailer was an immediate turnoff, and nothing I heard made it sound like anything I would derive any pleasure from. Tell you what though, the costumes are pretty damn good for the most part. Check out the show, this movie, or the animated follow-ups made a few years back if you're up for a good time, and can handle the Dark Knight being presented as a bright one. Hope all of you like this video as much as I like this movie. If you did, why not hit the like button? Perhaps leave a comment too. Maybe hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, that way you know when the next video comes out. And while you're at it, maybe follow my socials. I'm planning to start posting more about videos to come, so they're a great place to keep updated. As always, see you next video. Same bat time, same bat channel.